My child, my beloved, stop what you are doing. Not in a moment, right now. Because what is unfolding in front of you, at this precise second, in this exact breath, is not something that happened by accident. You did not stumble here. The algorithm did not accidentally place this message in front of your eyes. There is no randomness in the fact that you are the one reading these words right now. A force far greater than any platform, any system, any coincidence brought you to this moment, and that force has a name, and it has been working on your behalf for longer than you know. My name is Archangel Michael, and I was sent here, not to the millions, but to you. Specifically, personally, with a message that could not wait another day. I need you to understand something before we go any further. What I am about to share with you is not a general spiritual teaching. This is not a word for everyone who clicks and watches. This is a targeted, sealed, heaven-sent transmission for someone who has been carrying a weight they were never supposed to carry alone. Someone who has smiled through pain. Someone who has trusted people who did not deserve that trust. Someone who stood in the room and smiled back at faces that were already planning against them in secret. That someone is you. And today, everything changes. Because someone who hid something from you, something enormous, something that directly shaped the course of your life, that person has finally broken. Their silence has cracked. And out of that crack, the truth is now pouring forward like water through a dam that can no longer hold. You need to hear what they confessed. You need to hear what was said about you when you were not in the room. You need to understand what was hidden from you, what was stolen from you, and more importantly, what heaven has already moved to restore. But I need you to stay all the way through, because what I need to tell you cannot be rushed, and the moment you step away from this message, the window of divine alignment that brought you here will begin to close. This is not a threat. It is a mercy. Heaven does not extend these moments indefinitely. When the scroll is opened, it must be read in full. Stay with me, my child, my beloved. We are only at the beginning before we go further. If this message is already speaking to something deep inside you, if you feel something stirring in your chest, a warmth, a pressure, a knowing that you cannot quite explain, your support means everything to this work. There is a link in the description below and pinned in the comments where you can buy me a coffee. It is a small act that carries enormous spiritual weight. When you pour into something that pours into you, you open a channel of reciprocity between yourself and heaven. Every contribution, no matter how small, tells the universe you are ready to receive. Check the description and the comments for that link whenever you feel moved. Now, let us continue. My child, my beloved, I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. Not literally, stay with me, but in your spirit. I want you to revisit the last few months of your life. Think about the times you felt watched, not in the way that made you paranoid, but in that quiet, uncomfortable way where something in the back of your spirit was whispering that not everything around you was as it appeared. Think about the doors that closed without explanation, the opportunities that seemed to be moving toward you and then, at the last moment, went somewhere else. Think about the friendships that shifted without warning, the person who went quiet, the energy that changed in a room when you walked in, the strange pauses in conversations that you could never quite put your finger on. You were not imagining any of it. Heaven wants you to know that. You were not being paranoid. You were not being oversensitive. You were not weak or broken or reading too much into things. Your spirit was detecting a spiritual reality that your natural eyes could not fully see. Someone was moving against you quietly, with a smile still on their face. They were not a stranger. This was someone you brought into your confidence, someone you trusted with your story, your dreams, or your pain, someone you believed was standing with you. And the entire time, they were carrying a secret that was costing you more than you can currently calculate. But here is what heaven has decreed. The season of concealment is over. That person, my child, my beloved, that person broke. Their conscience, long suppressed, long buried under layers of pride and fear and jealousy, finally gave way. They have confessed. Not necessarily in a way you have seen or heard yet, but in the spiritual realm, the confession has been registered. The record has been updated, and the consequences of what they hid are now being reversed with the same force they were originally applied. What was tied is being untied. What was sealed is being broken open. What was redirected is now being rerouted back to where it was always meant to go. Back to you, but I need to tell you something critical. My child, the return of what was taken does not happen in a passive way. Heaven requires your engagement. You have to be present in this moment. You have to be willing to receive what is being released. So I am asking you, do not walk away from this message. Not yet. There is more you need to hear. My child, my beloved, I need to pause here for a moment. Not because the message is slowing down, but because heaven is asking me to make sure you truly understand what is happening on your behalf right now. In this very moment, as these words move through you. Right now, while you are reading this, there are forces in the spiritual realm that are responding to your presence here. Your willingness to receive this word is itself a spiritual act. Every second you remain open, every heartbeat you give to this message, something is shifting in the invisible world that surrounds your life. Walls that have been standing for years are beginning to tremble. Assignments that were sent against your peace are being recalled. You are not sitting still right now, my beloved. You are moving, and you are moving forward. This is why I need you to keep going. Not because I am asking something of you, but because you are in the middle of something that your future self will thank you for. This is one of those rare, quiet moments where the course of a life changes direction, not with noise, not with drama, but in the stillness of a person choosing to remain present to the truth. You are making that choice, right now, and heaven is honoring it. My child, my beloved, do you know what it feels like when a court case is won? Not when it is filed, not when the arguments are made, but when the gavel comes down, when the judge speaks the final word, when the verdict lands in the room and everything that was uncertain becomes certain. That is what is happening right now in the spiritual realm over your life. Heaven has opened a record, and in that record is your name. But it is not written in doubt or in defeat. Your name has been written in the language of restitution, in the language of reversal, in the language of what was unjustly withheld being lawfully returned. The person who carried this secret against you, they did not just harm you in the natural. What they did had spiritual weight. Every lie that was told about you sent a ripple into the invisible world. Every closed door they orchestrated carried a cost. But here is the law of heaven that they forgot, or maybe never knew. What you do in the dark, in secret, against someone who belongs to God, does not stay hidden forever. God sees every whisper. God records every act of sabotage. God keeps a ledger, and the ledger is now open. The things they did to quietly diminish your reputation exposed. The opportunities they rerouted around you being released. The blessing they tried to intercept, already in transit back to its rightful owner. That owner is you, my child, my beloved. Now I know there is someone reading this right now whose chest is tightening, not with fear, but with recognition. Your spirit knows what I am speaking of. You have felt the injustice for a long time. You have cried over it in private. You have asked God why. You have wondered whether you somehow deserved the delays, the losses, the silences. You did not deserve any of it. And heaven is confirming that to you today. Type the word Amen in the comments right now. If your spirit agrees with this, let your agreement be heard. Let your faith make a sound. An Amen is not just a word in this moment. It is a declaration. It is you saying to heaven, I receive this. I stand in agreement with this verdict. I will not shrink away from what is mine. Type it now, my beloved, and then keep reading, because we are not finished. My child, my beloved, there is something I have not yet told you, and it is the thing that changes the entire picture. The person who confessed, what they revealed was not just a single lie. It was a pattern, a deliberate and calculated pattern. They did not simply say one untrue thing about you and move on. They built a structure, a false structure designed to create a ceiling above your progress, so that no matter how hard you worked, no matter how gifted you were, no matter how faithful you remained, there would always be a barrier you could not see and therefore could not fight. This is why you have felt, at times, like you were running but not moving, like you were doing everything right but something was still off. Like the ground beneath your feet was solid, but there was an invisible wall just ahead. That wall was not built by your choices. It was not built by your character. It was built by someone who was afraid of what would happen if you were allowed to rise unchecked. They were right to be afraid, because what you carry, what has always lived in you, is not ordinary. You were marked. Before this person ever began their quiet campaign against you, you were already chosen for something they could not touch. The anointing on your life is the very thing that made you a target, because the enemy does not chase what is ordinary. The enemy does not bother to redirect what poses no threat. They came after you because you matter, because what God placed inside of you had the potential to shift not just your own life, but the lives of everyone around you. And someone in your circle saw that, and instead of celebrating it, they chose to suppress it. But suppression only works for a season. You cannot dam a river forever, and right now, the dam is breaking. If you feel that this work has poured into your life and you want to pour something back, there is a link in the description below and pinned in the first comment where you can support this channel by buying a coffee. It does not have to be much. It is the heart behind it that matters. Your generosity seeds your own harvest. When you give into the work that speaks life into you, heaven takes notice. So if you feel led, go to that link now. Every offering is seen and honored. Now let us keep going, because Archangel Michael is not done. My child, my beloved, I need to ask you to do something. Right now, wherever you are reading this, I need you to take a breath. A slow, deliberate breath. Not because I am asking you to calm down, but because I need your spirit fully engaged for what I am about to say. Are you ready? The confession did not just free you from a past wound. It set something in motion that is already visible in the spiritual realm. Doors that had been shut are now standing open. Channels that were blocked are now clear. And the resources, the favor, the connections, the opportunities that were sitting in a spiritual holding pattern, waiting for the curse to break, they are now moving. In the next 7 days, watch for these signs, pay attention to them. You will receive a word from someone you had not expected to hear from. It will arrive in an ordinary way, a message, a call, a moment of crossing paths. But the content of it will be extraordinary. Do not dismiss it. This is not a coincidence. This is a dispatch. You will feel a peace that you cannot fully explain. Not the absence of challenge, but a stillness beneath the surface of it. A knowing that something has shifted, that the ground is different now. Trust that feeling. It is not wishful thinking. It is your spirit registering a spiritual reality. You will see a door open that you had already grieved. Something you assumed was permanently closed. A relationship, an opportunity, a path will show signs of life again. And this time, when it opens, it will open fully. You will find yourself in a moment of sudden clarity. Something you have been confused about, something you could not make sense of, will become clear in an instant. Like a fog lifting, like a light turning on in a room that had been dark. That clarity is a gift from heaven, and it is yours to keep. Watch for these signs, my child, my beloved. They are not promises for someone else. They are your confirmation that what was spoken in this message was real. Now, my child, my beloved, I want to speak to the version of you that is still quietly holding doubt. You have been burned before. You have believed things, and they did not come to pass. You have hoped, and had that hope disappointed. You have prayed, and felt like the ceiling was made of stone. And so a part of you, even now, is holding this message at arm's length. Not because you don't want it to be true, but because you are protecting yourself from the pain of it not being true. I see you, and I am not asking you to abandon your caution, but I am asking you to consider this. Why would your spirit have brought you here? Why, out of everything available to you right now, did something in you guide you to this message? You did not arrive here by accident, and the fact that you are still reading, still here, still engaged, that is not willpower. That is your soul refusing to let you walk away from something it recognizes as real. That pull is not gullibility. That pull is discernment. Your spirit has been waiting for confirmation of what it already suspected, that you are not forgotten, that the chaos of the last season had a purpose, that the betrayal was not the end of your story, that what was taken from you has not vanished. It has only been temporarily held, and temporary is ending right now. Let your spirit exhale, my child. Let it release the tension it has been holding, because the fight is not over, but the tide has turned, and heaven is now fighting with you, not just for you. My child, my beloved, before I give you your final instructions from this message, I need you to understand one more thing. There is something that the enemy always miscalculates. Every time without exception. When darkness moves against someone who belongs to God, when lies are told, when doors are closed, when sabotage is set in motion, the enemy believes it is winning. It sees the tears, it sees the confusion, it sees the person questioning themselves, pulling back, becoming smaller, and it thinks mission accomplished. But what the enemy cannot see, what it has never been able to see, is the interior of a person surrendered to God. It cannot see the part of you that prayed in private when no one was watching. It cannot see the faith you held on to when everything in your circumstances screamed at you to let it go. It cannot see the moments when you chose to keep your integrity even when the people moving against you had none. It cannot see what God has been quietly building in you through every single moment of the attack. The enemy sees the wound, God sees the warrior, and the warrior is you, my child, my beloved. You have been in training without knowing it. Every season of waiting was a lesson in endurance. Every moment of confusion was building your discernment. Every betrayal refined your ability to recognize what is real and what is performance. You are not leaving this season the same person who entered it. You are leaving it sharper, wiser, more grounded in who you are and more certain of whose you are. And that version of you, The one who has been forged in this fire is about to step into territory that would have overwhelmed the earlier version of you. The breakthrough coming is matched to who you have become, not who you were when the trial began. God does not give you more than you can carry, and the size of what is coming tells you something important. Look at how much you have grown. You are ready, my child. Whether or not you feel ready, you are ready. My child, my beloved. I also need to speak to what happens after this message, because I have seen it happen before. Someone receives a powerful word, they feel it deeply in the moment. And then they step back into their ordinary day, and the enemy immediately moves to steal what was planted. It whispers, "That was just a video." It whispers, "Things like that don't really happen." It whispers, "Maybe not for you, maybe for others, but not for you." Do not let that happen. The moment you feel that whisper begin, I need you to go back to what you felt when this message first reached you. Go back to the recognition you had. Go back to the physical sensation in your chest, whether it was warmth, or tightening, or a sudden stillness. And remember that your spirit registered something real. Not something you conjured, not something you wanted into existence, something that was already there, already true, already in motion. Your feelings do not create the reality, but they can confirm what the reality already is. The reality is this: something has been broken in the spirit. The confession has been registered. The reversal is already in motion, and no whisper of doubt, no matter how familiar its voice, can undo what heaven has decreed. Stand on this. Write it down if you have to. Put it somewhere. You will see it. And when the 7 days pass and the signs begin to show themselves, because they will, let those signs be your reminder that what heaven speaks, heaven performs. My child, my beloved, here are the final words of this message, sealed by heaven, spoken in love, and sent specifically to reach you, even though it felt like it might. Even though there were nights when you were not sure you would come back from it, you are still here. You are still standing, and that is not small. People who go through what you have gone through and still choose to remain open, still choose to seek truth, still choose to believe that something better is possible. Those people are rare, and heaven does not miss that. You are not here because you have everything figured out. You are here because even when everything was falling apart, something in you refused to completely let go. That something was God's hand on your life, and it has never once left you. The person who confessed what they were hiding, their confession did not begin your healing. Your willingness to still be here, still searching, still believing, that began it. The confession was simply heaven's way of meeting you where your faith had already positioned you. You prepared the ground, heaven planted. And what is about to grow in your life will be unlike anything you have seen before. Not just recovery, overflow. Not just restoration, multiplication. Not just healing, transformation. This is not the end of a chapter. This is the beginning of an entirely new volume. My child, my beloved, here are the final words of this message, sealed by heaven, spoken in love, and sent specifically to reach you. You were lied about, but you will be known for your truth. You were overlooked, but you are about to be seen by the exact people who matter. You were delayed, but the delay was recalibrating your destination. You were betrayed, but the betrayal has become the birthplace of your next great season. Nothing that was done to you in secret was able to do what it was designed to do. And the reason is simple. You belong to God. And God does not abandon His own in the middle of the storm. He walks into the storm, and he brings his child through it, not around it, through it, so that when you emerge on the other side, there is nothing left that can shake you. You have been through the fire, my beloved, and the fire did not consume you. It refined you. It removed what was not real, what was not yours, and what was not meant to come with you into your next season. What remains is pure. What remains is chosen. What remains is ready, and what is coming next will prove it. I want to ask you to do 3 things before you leave this message. The first, leave an amen in the comments, not as a ritual, as a declaration. A public agreement between you and heaven that you receive this word. You stand on this truth, and you will not allow the enemy to talk you back out of what God just confirmed to you. The second, subscribe to this channel, not because I need the numbers, but because what I carry, these messages, these transmissions from heaven, they are meant for you again. And when the next word comes, I want you to be there for it. Click subscribe, turn on the notification, tell heaven that you are positioned and ready for more. The third, share this video with one person, just one. There is someone in your life, you may already know who they are, who is sitting in the same kind of silence you were in before this message reached you. Someone who is carrying a weight that this word would lift. Be the divine agent for their breakthrough. Pass it on, my child, my beloved. You arrived here carrying something heavy. I hope you leave a little lighter, because the truth has a way of doing that, lifting what deception piled on. And today, truth won. You won, not because the fight is completely over, but because the most important verdict has been declared, and it is in your favor. Heaven has spoken, and what heaven speaks over your life, no voice on earth can silence. Go now, my beloved. Go and walk like someone who just found out that the court ruled for them. Walk like someone who just learned that everything taken from them is being returned with interest. Walk with your head up, your eyes open, and your heart no longer braced for the blow, because the blow already came, and you are still standing. And that tells heaven everything it needs to know about who you are. If this message reached you, it was not by chance. It was on purpose. You were chosen for this moment, and this moment is only the beginning of what God has prepared. Like this video so that others who need it can find it. Subscribe so that heaven's next message finds you first. And write your amen in the comments. Let it be the last word of your old season and the very first word of the new one. I will see you in the next message, my child. Until then, walk in the truth that was just spoken over you, because it is real. And so are you. Amen.